Awesome. Okay. For this recording, I'm going to be playing the mediator, and Samantha is going to be playing
Alex.
Alex. Perfect. And we don't have our other partner here, so I will be playing Lynn as well. Sorry, we scheduled, but didn't happen. So, okay. Uh, Whatever. Action. Um, Hello. Welcome to this mediation meeting. My name is JT Telford. I will be the mediator for this session. Welcome, Alex, and welcome, Lynn. I wanted to kind of outline this mediation and the kind of why we are here. Obviously, there's been contention, conflict between you two, and I want to make sure that you know my role in facilitating this conversation. I want you to know that surrounding the agenda today, I'm not judge, jury, and executioner on this. I am a mediator. I am a throughway for conversation for you guys to come together on a decision and to provide ideas rather than to make the final decision on this. I am not a court. I am mandated by the court to help you figure this out before it gets to a place where more harm is done than good. So I want to give you a roadmap a little bit of what I think the strategies are to be most effective today. And obviously, you'll have some ideas, but I am here to more or less just facilitate conversation. I want this to be mutually beneficial for both parties. So first, sort of ground rules, so to speak, for this are we have an agreement to mediate. I would have a piece of paper. This agreement to mediate will outline the other stuff, the stuff about mediation, the small or the terms and conditions, so to speak. So we'll kind of go through this, and I'll have you sign this to agree. Just agreement to this is you agree that I'm your mediator, and you agree to that everything in this session will be confidential. Everything in this session cannot be used in a court of law. So feel free to speak openly and candidly about this session, knowing that all of your thoughts and feelings will be protected under the laws of mediation and the laws of this agreement to mediate. Um, Once signed, this is also a legally binding document. And so, using information in this mediation outside, or using or breaking the confidentiality or trying to use information from this mediation or using it for ulterior motives, is not appropriate as well. I'd like to focus and express my role in this conversation that I am mandated by the state of Utah to do this. I have no say in giving special treatment to either of you, and I also understand there is conflict here based on a little previous information that this is familial. And so I do want to tread lightly that this relationship stays intact to the degree that you want it to stay intact as well. So I will do my best to mediate this as well as I can. I love a quote by, you may know them, Mary Poppins, that says, "Well begun is half done." And this essentially, I love this quote because it essentially means the best way to put this mediation into the most effective path is to start it well and to start it with the right state of mind and the right heart. Obviously, there's conflict here, but in this agreement to mediate and in your agreement to this mediation, we've started well, and I want to continue on that same path. So let's read. We'll read through a little bit of this agreement to mediate and sign this, and then we'll kind of get started. A little bit about, or after we do the agreement to mediate, we'll start with some opening statements about this conflict. So obviously, I'd go through that and sign it, but we don't have an agreement to mediate. So Alex, why don't you start with kind of an opening statement about the context of this conflict in your words?
Yeah, this whole situation has been pretty hard for me. Um, I do love working with you, Lynn, and I'm proud of everything that we've built, but I just feel like I'm doing most of the creative and client work, and I'm not really being recognized for it. I'm the one meeting with the clients late and managing their requests and just keeping them happy. And honestly, it's a lot. And I do believe that my income should reflect the amount of work that I've been putting in.
That's great, Alex. Thank you. Lynn, would you like to give your opening statement? Yes, yes, I would. Um, Alex, thank you for your thoughts. I also understand I worked very hard for this business when we started it a couple years ago. Um, it was great. We kind of had our roles and responsibilities, but it now seems like um, I am now kind of being taken advantage of for my role. I do pretty much everything else besides design. Anything else a business entails, I am doing. I work with our clients, the clients that she brings in. They have long they keep long hours, and they're usually their requests for us are outside of the realm of what we promise or what we provide. And so I feel like the promises that Alex is making are stuff that um, she's not providing. I have to fit the bill for the promises that she's making, and I think that my income should reflect that. I am working I feel like double the hours that I should be, and if I'm going to work those hours, I would like to be compensated. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Alex. I think those are um, good places to start. Thank you for recognizing the the responsibilities and the work that the other individual has put in. When you are addressing me, or when you are talking about this conflict, please address me instead of addressing the other individual. Um, First, let me reframe this a little bit. So, Alex, you're the design. Your specialty is design in this business and gaining clients, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And Lynn, you are doing the back end work for this design business, or back end for this flower shop. You are doing the deliveries, the deliverables, production of flowers. Yes. Yes, that is what I am doing. I also am customer service as well on the back end. Gotcha. Okay. So after we've hopefully I got the gist of what you're talking there, and if you have any concerns about the gist of that, please let me know. So I'd like to ask you, Alex, what prompted or guys, what was the nexus, or I guess what's the nexus event of it sounds like you were equal partners at some time? Yes? Or
yeah.
did you always start out at a differential of the compensation?
Um, mm, yeah, no, it's always been the same.
Okay. So uh either or Alex or Lynn, what prompted the change to want to be compensated more?
I could share on my feelings of that.
Hmm.
Um, I just think that I've been taking on some more client work, like design consultations, site visits, and custom projects. So that means long hours, creative planning, and a lot of emotional labor. And the reputation we built, the one that keeps the client coming back, has been really tied to that, in my opinion. But I'm also juggling life as a single parent. And although that's not Lynn's responsibility, it does make it harder for me to take on more than I already do. And I just feel like my creative contribution, which is what Two Flowers is known for, should be recognized fairly in our income split.
Gotcha. Okay. And I didn't say this before as the mediator. Just to kind of summarize, Lynn, you are also the store manager, correct? You're the one managing employees? Yes, yes, I am. I'm managing the employees, and yeah, I manage the store as well. Okay, back into mediator. That sounds good. Thank you for your time, Alex. I think that is pretty valid. Um, let's go to let's get down to brass tacks, truly. Um, you both want to be compensated more for the hours that you are working, so to speak, right? Are you using an hourly wage to facilitate how you're being paid, or is it we pay for everything that the shop needs, pay the employees, and then we are paid? How is that being facilitated?
Hmm.
What do you think, Samantha? Would Lynn or um Alex know like how they're being paid?
I feel like Lynn would
I feel
because,
like Lynn, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I'll answer that just so I'm
Okay.
not like doing the this business. I wanted to make sure I'm not
No
interrupting
worries.
what you want. So, let's see. Okay. Um, okay. So I asked the question, are we who is managing the employees? Um, yes, mediator, JT. We are, yeah, we pay the employees and do all expenses, and outgoing expenses first, and then we have in the past split payment to me and Alex equally. But obviously, we are doing like we don't agree that that should continue in the same way. Awesome. Okay. Um, Thank you, Lynn, for letting me know. Um, let's take it. So clearly, I'm seeing not only are we not feeling like we are being compensated for the work we're doing, is there any um, relational things that are going on right now that you would like to salvage? I mean, clearly, we're in this mediation because you're trying to salvage relationship between you both, um, because you are siblings, right? But is there any other people involved in this conflict that you're seeing involved?
Um, I don't, not 100%, but I will say on my part, my son, um, because I am trying to save for his college, and he's 10 right now, and I don't have a good savings for that yet. Like I said before, I know that's not really Lynn's problem, but if I did have more income, that is something that I could help for in the future. And I mean, it also is her nephew, so I would hope she would have some sort of consideration into that fact. His dad doesn't make a lot of money, so he's not really able to help out as much.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, how, Lynn, how do you feel about Zach? Is that, are you close? Do you want, is that, does that pull on heartstrings there, to hear that? Yeah. Zach is, he's the best. He's obviously he's Alex's son, but he's the best. And for a 10-year-old, I think he's pretty awesome. And, um, yeah, I can't imagine what life would be like without him. And I don't want this. And we have a very profitable business. I don't want to like sacrifice. I don't want to sacrifice our relationship for this, even though it is successful. But I also cannot keep like I can't deal with the irresponsible nature of what's going on right now, especially when I mean Zach is I don't like I he's very important to me as well. I have been saving money for him for college because I know Alex has not. Okay. Um, that is, and by the look on your face, Alex, it seems like you didn't know that, that Lynn had been saving money for Zach. Um, I don't know if you want to respond to that at this moment in time, but would you like to respond, about that?
I mean, that is shocking, but I am grateful. That doesn't take from the fact that I still would like to save for my son as well, just because if anything happens in Lynn's life, it's not a guarantee that she'd be able to give that money to him. Whereas because he's my sole responsibility, that is money that would go to him. But I do appreciate that she's been doing that.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I think that's a strong statement towards compromise. And thank you, Lynn, for establishing your connection with Zach. I think there's more than just your relationship on the line at this time, or in discussion as well. Um, so now that I mean, we can discuss. other things in terms of the fund and the nature of responsibility, right? Of how money is being spent. Let's figure out some avenues to make this take it out of your hands, essentially. Um, and decide this because I don't know that we're going to get to a place where you two are both owners in this business. And so I would like I mean, we've explored all the interested parties, right? And let's look through some options, right? At this point, I think one option, especially that could help, is just hours. You both are set at the same wage, whatever, like a 50-50 split on wage. Let's say 30-35 an hour after everything is paid. You pay each other the amount of hours you've worked. You can audit those hours later at a later time or discuss, like, let's say Alex is designing with a client for 4 or 5 hours, right? She's being paid $30 an hour, and Lynn is working in the office with the employees for 4 to 5 hours. You're both being paid the same. That is an option. Um, Whether you want to be honest, I mean, whether you are honest about the exact amount of hours you're working is an audit that you two can do together, but at least you can hold each other accountable and audit those hours saying, okay, how many hours were you actually designing, or were you having lunch with this person and then designing, right? Or Lynn is working with a customer on customer service and they're waiting for them to respond on email. I wouldn't classify personally that is working. You're waiting on a response. So maybe that's a 5 minute, 10 minute response that doesn't need to be taken as an hour of waiting for someone to respond. So that is an option of you guys are paid the same, and just letting the hours dictate who gets paid more based on the hours worked. Um, how does that sound in a sense of compromise? Have you guys done it that way in the past, or are you just deciding, hey, whatever is extra, we just split that 50-50?
Um, from my knowledge, that's not something we've done in the past.
Okay. I think Lynn would say, no, we've paid the employees, paid our expenses, and then split whatever profits we have 50-50. So, um, in Lynn's mind, I think that I'll just play Lynn for a second. The hourly wage doesn't seem that bad of an idea, personally, because I can be pretty honest. My employees see me working, or Alex could ask them if I'm working or not, or just sitting in the office. So I'm fine with that. I struggle with seeing if Alex is honest about the amount of time she's spending with clients personally, if she's actually working in their house or they're having lunch for 3 hours, maybe talking 10 minutes of design about flowers. So that makes me nervous about auditing that when I'm not there. So that makes sense, Lynn. Um, how would you audit those hours? Alex, is there a way that you could instill a little trust in that? Or is there options you can think of?
Um, I I don't know how I could. I know that I'm being honest, but I could see where the concern was coming from of maybe taking a really long lunch. Um, Although, if we are talking about designs, could that be considered working? Or even though we are eating lunch, is that just considered a lunch type of thing?
Hmm. I think that's a valid concern. 100%, Alex. Um, I don't know, Lynn, how you feel personally, but if it is in a sense, I mean, most businesses have a business card, right? That they take clients or potential clients out to lunch, hoping to get their business. And so, if it is a lunch that's deemed like a marketing lunch, so to speak, or a client retention lunch, like um, whatever, if Alex is out with a potential client and they're talking flowers and it's a means to an end, right? There's another conversation to be had if there's a lot of lunches going on the company card, so to speak, and not a lot of flower orders are coming through. But there's also a back end of that where Lynn could take business lunches for customer service as well. You have a client that's really particular about their about the flowers that they want, and they keep going back and forth with you. Maybe going out to their business, bringing them lunch and sitting down. That I mean, that creates a bigger bond with your clients, right, Lynn? I can. Lynn would say, here. Yeah, I can see that. How if they're being picky and super finicky, I can bring out some options and kind of do the same thing on the back end that Lynn or that Alex does. Great. I think that's there's some options there in terms of the hours actually worked. And I think it doesn't need to be a hard conversation until about hours, unless it's really egregious as well. Um, I think if you I imagine that you are working the same amount of hours or close to the same amount of hours. Maybe there's a little discrepancy here and there, but holding yourselves accountable and being honest, truly, I think is if you guys value your relationship, I don't know that you would want to lie to your sibling, right? I mean, very heavily. That's another conversation to you to have about mediation if needs be, or not about mediation, excuse me, about the work being done. So, does how does the hourly thing sound to you too?
I think that's something that I could do. I can trust my sister, and I believe she can trust me as well.
Yeah. I think it sounds like a lot of work. Lynn, I'll let you go first before I give a final piece. I think Lynn would say, "Yeah, that sounds good to me. I am working, whether that's a time card or whether that's being in the office, people knowing what I'm, or people see me. So I think we need to discuss a little bit more of like how Alex is going to um, show the hours that they are working." Um, Okay, that sounds good. Alex, is there a certain way that you would like to track how much, like the hours you're working? Or do you think
Uh,
some ideas?
Off the top of my head, I could, seeing as how I'm not in a physical office always, I could take note of the hour that I'm starting. I could message Lynn, just be like, I'm meeting with this person now. We are planning to be together until this time, um, something like that.
Hmm. I think that's good. I think transparency especially is important. And to me, let's play devil's advocate for Alex for 2 minutes, right? Um, just for Lynn to understand, like Alex is not reporting to Lynn her hours, right?
Mhm.
She is being transparent with what is happening. I would completely recommend Lynn until you guys come to a place of more trust, so to speak. Hopefully that is already high, but to a place of I trust this person and I can see the business that they're doing. I can see the value. I also think that Lynn should say, "Hey, I'm working with this client in customer service for the next 2 hours," the same way that Alex is, right? Alex is not on Lynn's leash, nor is Lynn on Alex's leash, but you are holding each other accountable, right? So we've now have this compromise that only works if you guys are working on it, right? So being transparent with what is happening, I think goes a long way in building that trust again. And then right? That I mean, when the pay stubs come out and you see the hours that you've worked, that's what's worked that week, right? So, I mean, the truth will always come out, so to speak.
Mhm.
So, if Alex is working about 35 hours a week and Lynn happens to work 55 hours a week, or Alex works 55 hours and whatever, flip-flop that, then well, I know what she was doing all the hours of the week, so that has to be valid, right? So, and at the end of the day, you are both running a very successful business. And so coming to an agreement where transparency is there um and also you're being compensated for the work that you're doing, I think is very effective and will be the best course forward. Okay. Um Seems like we've come to an agreement. Are there any final questions that we would like before we kind of close our statements? I have our closing statements, excuse me.
Mm, I don't have any.
Okay. Lynn, do you have any? No, I don't have any questions about that. I think that the hour system will work, and hopefully, not only our employees will hold us accountable, but this will create a better work culture of transparency. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Lynn. If we have no other things to discuss, thank you so much for being here. And hopefully, yeah, big success to a flower shop business and your families. Thank you so much for being here. We did it.
Yeah.